Today, I'd like to talk about small apartment buildings. Could be duplex to 10, 15 unit apartment building. And this is just in case disclaimer. So I'm not the tax accountant or a lawyer. So please seek any advice when you decide to make an investment decision. And my name is Yukiko Nakayama. I'm originally from Japan, and I'm a real estate developer in the metropolitan DC area. And I spent most of my careers in a residential project. And prior to my real estate career, I worked as an IT consultant at the KPMG and also at the marketing manager at the Samsung and Fujitsu. And while I'm not at the working on the real estate project, I enjoy scuba diving, whitewater rafting, and swimming. And I live in Northern Virginia and with my husband and daughter. And I also had a license in DC, Maryland, Virginia, mainly for the investment purpose. And today's, I know we have a very short times, but the agenda today is the initially like a mindset when you're making a commercial project, and quickly touch on the goal setting, and then how to find deals, how to analyze deals, how to make deals, and how to fund the deals, and then property management, which is a key for a small apartment building, and then how to sell at the end of the course of the project. So the mindset, this is definitely the key. If you have a weak belief systems, it's kind of difficult to move forward. And then also don't rely on the other people to motivate you. I know there's many motivational speakers and seminars, but after the seminars, maybe you don't feel motivated. So don't rely on other people to motivate you. You have to find your strengths to motivate yourself. And then create a habit to keep your mind going in the right directions. It could be like an atomic habit, very small habit, just maybe reducing some non-essential activity so that you can spend time on your goals. Like for example, maybe you can limit or eliminate TV times, or you can start eating healthy, or go to bed early, or wake up early. So those are the kind of habit keep your mind going in the right directions. And then courageous and then confirmatory. So if you follow everyone's footsteps, I think you will get the average result. And if you want to have different outcomes, I think you need to find your way to kind of break through. So those are the things that you might consider. And then the life is not shaped by your environment. So something, your environment is not working out. Maybe, you change your environment. You can kind of, walk around. In my case, I actually grew up and then born in Japan. And as a female, it's very difficult environment to kind of achieve your career goal. So I decided to move to US and then kind of change whole environment, and then it worked for me. So I think, again, kind of think about your environment, and then, if that your environment kind of doesn't fit you well, you might consider kind of creating different environment for you. And then success is deliberately working toward goals. I think that means like if you put some goal, and then if you're working toward your goals, I think you're success. If your dream is becoming something or doing community service, and then if you're working toward that, I think you are success. It's not just monies or anything. I think your success is defined by you. And then the other things, the Alice in the Wonderland. This is a book called One Things. There's the chapter that it said like the Alice asked a rabbit, where should I go? And then rabbit said, if you don't know where you're going, it does not matter which direction you're going. And this kind of hit home to me. So whenever you kind of like not focus, kind of reflect and then stop and then think that, you have to decide which way you're going. It doesn't matter, like maybe you might go to the wrong directions, but you have to kind of find your direction where you're going, and then decide if that's a wrong direction, just change it. But you have to know where you're going. And then I have another mentors that taught me about Wheel of Life. This is, if you look up the Google, they will teach you like a Wheel of Life. Typically, you kind of on a sheet of paper, draw the circle and then split into like 8 pieces, like a piece of cake, and then put each section like for example, business, personal finances, relationship, friends, spirituality, personal growth, and stuff like that. It's matter to you. And then gauge 1 to 10 scale where you at. And then you will be shocked. Maybe personal finance is very good, but your relationship is horrible, something like that. So gauge where you are, and then you kind of have like a balanced life. So it's not all about money. Like, when you don't have a happy, like personal life, the money really doesn't serve you well. So having a good mindset really make it closer to achieve your goal. And then goal setting. For the goal setting, there's many books and then YouTube. I think I just kind of touch very quickly. I think the good thing is set manageable chunk goal for each time frame. Short terms, like 1 to 2 years. Maybe you can actually put more short-term goal, like maybe 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And midterms, I put like 3 to 4 years, maybe for some people 1 to 2 years. And then long terms, 5 years. And then if you just put like 5 years goal, make, $5 million, it doesn't kind of resonate. It's kind of too long terms. So if you put like 5-year goal, like putting some X number for the how much you want to make or something that you want to achieve, put that, but you have to also kind of, to achieve 5 years goal, what I have to do in the midterms, and then go back and then make sure your short-term goals is to achieve the long-term goal, so that you can have like plan for your long-term goal. And then set aside to review goals. If it's possible, do with your significant other so that you can be on the same page. I think I recommend to do on a weekly review. So in the beginning of a week, you put maybe some 3 or 4 goals for the week. And at the end of the week, you will review and then see if you achieve the goals or something you need to work on, reflect on what did go well and then what didn't go well. So set aside to review weekly goals. And then other thing is the review your resources, what's the gap, achieve your goals. I think you have a resources and then capital, but to achieve your goals, maybe you lack something. In my case, I wanted switch from the residential side to the commercial side. And I realized I don't have really the skill or understanding of the commercial real estate. So I decided to get the master degree in real estate development. So that's what I did for the 4 years. I went to George Mason University and then get the master degree in real estate development. Now I feel comfortable analyzing commercial deals or did fund analysis and the management with the fund at the George Mason University. And I think this is other book that I read, 12-week goal. So I think if you want to accelerate your success, maybe you might want to try 12-week goals instead of 1-year goal, so that you push the timeline. And then maybe you cannot achieve in a 12-week, but you might be able to do it in a 12-week. So maybe you may have some goal to buy, like a duplex in a 1 year, but you might just push 12 weeks and then see what's go. Like maybe you can kind of like, hurry up and then finish by the 6 months instead of 1 year. So who knows? So try, shorter time frames if you can. And then how to find the deals. In my case, I extensively use the broker to find the deals, but I also had access to MRIS, which is a system that agent use. I have a license, so I have access to MRIS, and then I scout every day looking for small apartment building. You can set the automatic email alert, so you get every day in the morning. Based on your criteria and area, you will automatically get active listing to the email. If you don't have a license, you can ask your agent to give you the, like set the automatic alert to your email box so that you can get alert right away. And then there's a website called LoopNet. And then most of the time, maybe it's not a good deal, but the good thing is you have a contact information for a commercial agent in the area. So this is a way you can start creating a relationship with agent. So if you want to buy in some area that then you should contact those agents who's listing in the area. And then the other thing is Craigslist. One times I got the contact with the Craigslist listed by the directory by seller. So sometimes the seller might be listing in a Craigslist direct. So that's also a good source. And then the other times I also find that Facebook Marketplace, they are also selling a real estate project or product. So you can also check that. And then networking. So if you go to RIA, like a local RIA, you usually meet with local realtors or wholesalers, or actually like a landlord who might have a multi-family building. So you can network there in person. Maybe, during the pandemic, you might meet virtually. And then driving for Dallas. If you know the area that you want to buy, you can drive by and then maybe see the sign of distress, like a tall glass, deferred maintenance. So you can look up the seller's names from the website, like a prop streams and stuff like that. You can look up the names and contact informations, and then directly contact the seller that way to see if they are motivated to sell. And then in a similar note, I also have done the direct marketing to the sellers. So you buy the list from the list source or some other list broker, and then you start sending the postcard letter directly, and then you can get the lead that way. for my residential careers, most of the times I did the direct marketing extensively. And then also you can go to the courthouse and then find out maybe the probate cost, divorce cost, and tenant land case. Those are the people in the transactions and in the situation that they might be motivated to sell. So these are also the good source to look up. And then the auctions. Usually in the local state, you have a local auction house. So if you go there, there's a public auctions and private auctions. Some lawyers who specialize in the auctions, they list those properties with the auction house. So one times I also get the house through the auction house, so which is a very good source. And then the show sales. Sometimes the seller cannot keep the mortgage, and then in a show sale, so maybe your agent that you know or someone that you know maybe in a show sales, and then you can contact them directly to see if they can negotiate a good term with you. And then how to analyze the deals. I think Station mentioned when she was doing the storage deals, the small apartment building is also valued by the cash flow. So if we, for this example, you might want to create the Excel spreadsheet. If your rental income is 150,000, and then the property tax is 10,000, insurance is 5,000, utility is 50,000, and then the other expenses 5,000. This case, net operating income is 155,000, and then the cap rate, for example, this one's 10%. I think you should check with the local brokers what's the going cap rate for the specific area. If they said 10%, and then in this case, the value is the 150,000 divided by 10%, which is close to 1.1 million. This is how you evaluate deals. If you can make the deal with the sellers like less than 1.1, this is a good deal. And you might also want to check the comparable sales in the sales market. Maybe some similar size, similar bedroom mix, and then similar conditions, and then check the comparable so that you are getting good deals. And then ask trading 12, like 12 months of the income and expense, and then let load who's paying how much, and then what's the bedroom mix. And then I think probably most people know, but just in case, the cap rate is calculated by the NOI divided by the cost of the properties. So when you do the cap rate calculations, you can find out the value of the properties. And then following this example, the first year, you have to make a 300,000 equity, maybe down payment or something, and then the year 5, you sell and then get 500,000. In meantime, year 1, you get 155,000, year 2, 120,000 cash flow, year 3, 130,000 cash flow, year 4, 140,000, and then year 5, you got 150,000. And then based on the cash flow you got, which is year 185,000 through at the year 5, 650,000. IRR on this investment project is 83%, which is fantastic. This is example. And then net present value of this project is 608,000. So based on the numbers, I definitely will buy this project. I love to have this, but this is how you want to value small or commercial project. And then just in case, other common metrics is cash on cash return, which is calculated by annual cash flow divided by money invested by investor. And then this is 1 year by 1 year. So sometimes they average out. So if you have 5 years, maybe they might show like average annual cash flow instead of 1 year. And then the other metrics they use is debt coverage ratio. That's calculated by NOI divided by annual mortgage payment amount. And most of the times, this must be higher than 1.25 or something like that. So when you get the bank financing, they will dictate you to be higher than some amount. So you have to be careful when you are trying to buy the property with bank financing. Need to know in advance what's the DCR requirement is. And then how to make a deals. Like most of the times, negotiation is a key when you're buying. You have to know the sellers. Like, is he or is she selling some reason? And you have to also check the pain point. Like maybe they have impeding tax sales or relative living inside the house and some kind of obligation to pay off someone else so that they need to sell the house. So you kind of find out the pain point for the seller, and that's kind of make the negotiations successful. And then get in other person's shoes, like what need to be done here to sell. In DC particulars, we have something called TOPA, and then the actually tenant has a right, refusal right to buy the property. So knowing those TOPA process and then can kind of talk through or like doing the process, which make it easier for the seller to deal with the buyer who knows the TOPA process. So I usually go upfront. I know TOPA process, and then I done this process before. So those are kind of making the seller comfortable that I know the TOPA process, and then I done before, which is kind of create, comfortable situations for seller to sell to me. And then the present solutions, like sometimes maybe they don't want to pay the capital gain tax, then maybe you can offer some installment sales, something like that. You can create the solutions to meet the seller's needs. And then sometimes they are looking for like, outrageous amount, the price. Then you can ask why there's a gap between your offer and the seller's price. And then go from there and then, find out why they're getting. Maybe some, neighbor just mentions that it sells at the specific price, but the neighbor's house is, totally renovated or have a bigger lot, something like that. So you can explain these aspects so that you can bring back to the negotiations. And then follow up. Most of my, maybe like 60-70% of my deals came from follow-up. So the follow-up is very key to have a successful deals. And then the professional. How many times I heard like from the sellers, like, oh, you are the one who actually came with the contractor and they see the house. They offered like a drive-by, price. And then they will know that drive-by price is not real price. So when I offer the price to the sellers, they know I really mean the price. So I think show some professionals goes really long way. And then how to find fund the deals. I think maybe you save up some times to buy the commercial building. So maybe you might have a cash. And then sometimes maybe like 401k or IRA, if you are not the owners, you might be able to fund the deals for someone else to buy and then create that way. Or you can kind of get the funded from someone else's 401k. And then the OPM, other person's monies, maybe you might have access to some other person's the capital. And then maybe you can ask seller financing if the property has like really need a lot of capitals. They might willing to go for the seller financing. Maybe some situations they don't want to pay tax right away, and then maybe you can go for seller financing. And then similar note, there's a lease option, so you can have this option and then option to buy in some years. So that way you can fix up, and then maybe 2-3 years down the road, the property is in a really good conditions. Maybe you can get the bank financing, so you can structure the lease finance. And then the banks, of course, most of the times I purchase with the bank, conventional bank financing. And then most of the time, small apartment building are financed by the community bank or local bank. So it's better to establish the relationship early so that you can kind of bring the deals to the banks, and then you can get the financing in time. And then hard money. Maybe like the property really need fix up. In that case, I think maybe hard money might be solutions. And then you can refinance with the permanent bank loan so that the interest rate is reasonable after stabilizations. And then crowdfunding, I haven't done this before, but I know there's many sites offering crowdfunding nowadays. And then the syndication, if the project is big enough and then profitable enough, I think syndication might be a good choice. You can kind of have a group of investors to invest with you as equity partners, and then you can be a general partner on the deals. And then if syndication is maybe doesn't work out, maybe you might have just joint venture with some other people, and then you have to draw up some operating agreement. They have to be somewhat really active for the joint ventures, but you can structure that way so that they might bring the capital, or they might bring some expertise to the table, and then you can create joint venture. And then the property management, small apartment building, it's really key to have the good property management skill. You can decide to hire property management companies, or you can self-manage. I done both, like self-manage and then hire property management company. It's really the choice you have to make based on your situations. If you don't really live close by, you might really consider hiring property management company, but you really need to screen the property management company. Sometimes they might have a very high expenses hiring some vendors instead of you hiring some other people that you know. So you have to watch out what they're spending, how they're communicating with your tenant. So those are the kind of things that you really watch out. And then even for the property management companies, you have a professional management companies, maybe has a lot of employees, or you might just have a one person property management companies. I think there is both pro and cons. Professional management companies, in case like there's a different division, so the communication might be a little bit tough for the big companies, but definitely if the one person is sick, you will be managed by different person, and then you can get the a lot of different function like evictions, the eviction person, rent collection person, management person. So there's a different expertise in the big companies, but maybe they don't personally take care of your properties. And then the state law, you really need to know the state law, especially right now that law is changing. So you really need to pay attention to like, when can you evict? When can I file the eviction? Or even we can send a notice. So those are the things that you have to know. And then the insurance is also the key. What insurance you covers, and then what actually it's covered. And then make sure to, to keep the renewals or, everything in a place. Insurance is very key. And then you want to make sure like you have a good process, leasing, onboarding, inspection, eviction, moving out. You might want to have a lot of like records that moving in, moving out, what was not damaged, what was damaged, so that when you send note to the tenant who move out, you can clearly articulate why your deposit is deducted, so that you have pictures and then the forms to prove your point. And then bookkeeping, it's very hard topics, but I think having good bookkeeping is a kind of good thing, so that you know your profitabilities, which building is losing money, which property is making money, so that in the future you might want to buy more of those type of the properties. And then property management software, there's many. I use Rentec Direct. It's kind of automate communications. You can send email, text automatically, and then tenant can do the ACH transaction to pay the rent or credit card if they select. So those are the things that make your life easier. And then having reserve to make a repair for big repair, like a roof repair or a parking lot, it's really key. So you want to make sure your budget has a good reserve to make a crucial renovations. And then keys, I think you have to keep track of keys. And then some of the cases I start kind of, use the smart key, like, keypad with, you can update the key. But some buildings, I think, may just stay like a traditional key, but you have to keep track of keys. It's kind of nightmare, but keep track of keys and then make sure you have that key for the each building. And then appliances. I have a debate about having a warranties and non-warranty. I have a warranty for all appliances, but the warranty company was really not good. So I kind of feel like I wasted money on the appliance warranty. So having a good brand of the appliance, even like meaning extra monies, it's well spent. So having a good appliance make your life easier, because you don't want to deal with constant appliance breakdown. And then HVAC, I think you have to make a good decisions about the total cost of ownership of HVAC. If you are switching to different HV systems, you want to make sure how much is the maintenance cost, how much is cleaning, and then calculate the total cost of the investment. That way, you will not get surprised at the end. And then plumbing. I think the most of the issues you may encounter is a plumbing for the especially small apartment building. So make sure you have a good plumber and then maybe you can try out different plumbers and then see who is capable and then who can come in a very short notice, and then make sure like you have a good relationship, and then you kind of need to educate yourself about the what different type of the plumbing situations. Just snaking maybe doesn't make sense. Sometimes you might have a jet to clean out all the sewage or something like that. You really need to know. And then when you have a building, the plumbing might be in between your like first floor and second floor, and then the another plumbing in a different floor. So you have to know the kind of diagram where your plumbing is going, and then make the repair accordingly. When your unit is down and then someone move out, maybe it's time to renovate and then replace the old plumbing in a specific unit. And then roof, you want to keep maintain the good like a roof. Maybe you might want to send inspector like maybe like once in a year at least to make sure your roof is intact, because it's very expensive to repair the roof damage after the fact. It will lead to the mold contamination. So it's really important to have a keeping the good roof maintenance. And then you might want to keep like a really good maintenance personnel, even you have a property management companies. I think you might in the future change the property management companies. So you really want to have a good maintenance person so that they will support you. I think that's really key for small apartment building. And then sometimes you might have like a resident manager, even small, like someone that you can call and then make sure everything's okay. Or sometimes they might help you to clean the common area. So we have some resident manager, the person who live inside help us to clean. Of course, we will compensate, but that's kind of really beneficial for both of us. And then how to sell. I think the even small apartment building asset management is key. Initially, you have the kind of business plan that you wanted to do, like for example, like reduce the expenses or increase the revenue. So you need to stick to your like a business plan. If you cannot, I think it's gonna create a problem. So do the asset management. When you get really busy property management, I think you are kind of maybe missing point. So have a business plan initially, and then stick to asset management, and then kind of keep track of what you want to keep track of. For example, if you are worried about turnover, you will keep track of how long will it take from vacancy to lease up. Maybe it's like a couple of weeks, maybe it's a couple of months. So you need to keep track of that. And then the one building has a really high turnover, like people moving out all the times, and the other building is totally not moving out. What's the difference? Area, condition of the property. So what you want to do is maybe do not buy the building, type of the building or the area that experiencing high turnover. Don't repeat that. And then buy the building whose low turnovers and the high profitability. So you want to keep track of like maybe set up some key performance index KPI, and then stick to asset management. Like maybe you can set like quarterly, like asset management. This today's I will review. Maybe some cases you might want to do monthly, and then just check if you are making a way to stick to your business plan. Maybe your plan was creating more, converting 1 bedroom to 2 bedrooms for each unit. Am I on track? Why it's not on the schedule? And then that kind of analysis. And then at the end, I think you are not really in love with the apartment building. You have some goal, maybe to make money or something else. So you have to decide, should I keep renting or should I sell? Is this good market to sell, or should I just keep as a legacy or something? So do analysis regularly. Market changing all the times, and then especially in DC, it's really hot market right now. So there's a lot of people who's buying. So maybe it might be a good time to sell. So you have to kind of evaluate: is this good time to sell? Is it good time to rent? Do that regularly, even you're not thinking selling, so that you don't miss the boat. Yeah, it's market cycle. That real estate is really always market cycle. So you have to aware, is this bottom of market? Is this coming back? Is this top of the market? So you really need to evaluate this. And I think someone mentioned what software. I have a Rentec Direct, which is very reasonable. I have maybe paying $50 to $60, and then that software has the supposedly QuickBook integrations, so that you can integrate with QuickBook, so to avoid double entries. I have a QuickBook accounting software for accounting purpose, so I wanted to have systems so that you don't have to do the double entries. But currently I'm not really integrating, but I think supposedly you can. And then I think there's many other apartment building software systems. Most likely they will track like a ledger for each tenant, and then they can keep track of each building, and then they can keep track of work order. So the tenant can actually create work order online, maybe using a laptop or PC or a cell phone, and then they can send automatically, and then which make kind of easier to keep track, because instead of getting call and then maybe you might forget, they'll definitely have a record of all the work order coming in, and then you can reply back each time. So it makes sense. And I think yeah, Stacy mentions Renty, a great software. So I think she also had a recommendation. So please check out. And contact brokers. When you are thinking about selling, you might check the brokers, but you have to really know whose broker is very active in the area. Specifically, like your the size of the building. There's a lot of commercial brokers specialize in apartment building, but the apartment building brokers that you're talking is maybe 100+ unit only. Then it really doesn't make sense to talk to the broker about selling your small apartment building. So you really need to know like who is the appropriate brokers. And then also, I think there's, I'm also the real estate agent, so I know, but some agent who really doesn't specialize in apartment building also occasionally list small apartment building. So I can't even talk, this kind of same terms like a cap rate and then commercial financing, stuff like that. You know, when I was trying to buy one of the building, the agent that who was selling wasn't really familiar with the commercial terms, and then he didn't know the what's the commercial loan means and then stuff like that. So please investigate who is the good broker and then talk to them about selling house. I mean, selling your apartment building. Don't just grab, you know, real estate agent who said who can sell the apartment building. They may not know the commercial terms and everything. And then, like I said about the market cycle, get the feel for the market. Is this seller's market, buyer's market? So depending on that, those market conditions, your strategy might be different. You might, you know, get a lot of buyer to make offer, or it might take longer to sell. So you have to be prepared. And then generally, you need to provide a broker with T12 rent roll unit mix, this, you know, recent cap expenditure, like what you did to the building. So please keep good record of when you did the roof, how much you spent, you know, when was the, you know, the HVAC upgraded, you know, which unit, something like that. I think having good record of capital expenditures really help you talk to brokers and then, you know, hence increase your value of the building. And then sell as is and renovate to sell. I think in general, you need to kind of some, you know, room to improve for next buyer. So if you have a totally renovated unit, maybe it might have a difficult time to sell the story. Usually you have some room to improve or improve, you know, something like a reduce the expenses or increase the like a rent or something. So if you have a completely renovated unit with, you know, something, I think it's a little bit hard to sell. So I think you might want to leave some room for improvement for next buyer if you are selling. And I think that's kind of like I have. And then if you have any questions, then I can answer those.
Can you tell everybody when you teach for REI USA?
I teach on like second Tuesday, like 7 p.m. in the Eastern time frame. So if you know, I think Tuesday evening.
And so, like, what do you go over during your sessions?
Usually, like you know, nuts and bolts of the small apartment building, and I do have some information that I can put out if anyone can put the email information. So I can send out 7 things to keep in mind when buying the small apartment building. So if anyone,
do you have a link for that, or what do you have? Can you put it in the chat?
I don't have a link right now, but if you know, if someone can chat in an email address, then I can send out.
Okay, good. Okay, so okay, are you in the Facebook group? I think you're in the Facebook group, right?
Yes, I'm in a Facebook group.
I think everybody, if you're interested in getting her free template, then just go into the Facebook group and then just post it out and tag Yukiko in it. Okay, I think that'd be the best thing. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then they can be in contact with you.
Yes, of course.
Okay, let me just get this. Let's see. And if anybody has any questions on small multifamily, anything like that, then go ahead and just put them into the chat, please, for her. Okay. Let me see. Let me get this. Is this the page? Is this the, no. Dude, do me a favor while we're waiting for everybody to ask questions. Can you talk about like it's like how many facilities, how many properties do you own, or like what is your typical day look like?
I have like a 20 unit in total, and those are all small apartment building. And then they typically like, I may have a work orders. Then I will deal with, like a work order, but pretty much I'm focusing on mostly like a asset management side. So when you acquire the small apartment building, like right now I have a 4-unit apartment building I purchased, working toward my asset management goal. So my goal was changing the layout of the each unit. So it was originally like a 1 bedrooms. So my goal was to make like a 3 bedroom for each unit and then increase the length. So in DC, it's very difficult to kind of, get those like kind of, changing the tenancy, but I was be able to make 1 bedroom to 3 bedrooms, and then the another 1 bedroom to 5 bedrooms. So there, I was able to increase the rent from one bedroom to the 3 bedroom was increasing from $900 to like $3,700, and then the other unit was 1 bedroom to 5 bedrooms. So I was be able to increase, almost like 900 to close to $4,700. And then I'm working on the other unit.
Okay, good. So you focus mostly on just asset management or like raising.
Yes. And
okay,
then,
good. Yeah, that's how I are. That's how I am too.
Yeah.
Once you get into it, essentially that's what you're doing, is just trying to raise money.
Raise monies, and then, trying to stick to asset management. So it's always kind of, get sucked into property management, but you have to realize you are not doing this to become a property manager. You are the business owner who want to, go, like keep moving. So
yeah, keep buying more property.
Like keep moving, properties, or making sure like your original business plans is, actually, moving forward. Otherwise, if you stuck with what you have, like, I think Stacy, when you bought your storage, is like, maybe 4% cap. If you keep at like 4% cap, there's nothing there, you know what I mean? So you have to like have original business plans and then keep implementing your plan. I think that's the key for small.
Do a lot of your properties need work?
Almost everything I bought.
Okay. Yeah. So you're, as I said, you're doing exactly what I'm doing, except for you're just in multifamily and not in storage.
Right.
Do you get like super huge high cap rates like I do? Almost, on the back end? Like
I think that in the beginning, like it's super tight cap rate or non-existing because the people didn't, pay the rent or something. So yeah, kind of like, navigate those sticky situations and then, make the property back again, renting and then actually collecting and then, making money for the owners. So that's what I do. Yeah, you do exactly what I do, except for you do the multifamily. Awesome. Well, I love